She was supposed to be dead for 22 years. Then the morgue called. Rain lashed the tin roof of Elias Harper's woodworking shop as he planed the final curve on a cherrywood rocking chair. The scent of fresh shavings grounded him, the same way it had for 3 decades. At 51, his scarred knuckles told stories his customers never asked about. The phone rang once. Twice. He almost ignored it. Mr. Harper. Detective Lara Voss, County Homicide. You need to come to the medical examiner's office. Right now. Elias wiped his hands on his apron. Who died? Your daughter. The planer clattered to the floor. I don't have a daughter, he said, voice flat. Only a son. The deceased carried your home address. Her birth certificate, original, not amended, lists you as father. Harper. Rowan Harper. Born the same night as your boy Caleb. The world narrowed to a single point. 22 years earlier, his wife Mara had wept beside a tiny incubator and whispered the worst words he'd ever heard. The girl didn't make it. 3 months later she disappeared with nothing but a note pinned under a coffee mug. I can't be the mother they need. Elias had buried the grief and raised Caleb alone, telling himself the empty half of his heart was simply the price of survival. Now that half was walking toward him on a steel tray. Detective Voss watched Elias and Caleb enter the cold room. Caleb, 22, tall, quiet, already wearing the same guarded eyes his father had perfected, stopped breathing when the sheet dropped. The young woman's face was Caleb's, softened by femininity, same deep hazel eyes, same faint scar above the left brow from a childhood fall neither twin had lived through together. Rowan Harper. Not a ghost. A person. Stolen twice. Voss spoke softly. Adopted at 3 days old. Raised in Montana as Rowan Caldwell. Both adoptive parents died within the last 18 months. She'd only recently learned the truth and started searching. Caleb's whisper cracked the silence. I had a twin sister. The autopsy was inconclusive on paper, overdose, but Voss showed them the wrist bruises shaped like thumbs, the petechiae eye inside the lips that screamed suffocation. Someone made her swallow those pills. In Rowan's nearly bare apartment they found the note hidden inside a hollowed-out book of poetry. Asterisk, if I disappear, know this. My birth mother is Mara Voss, no Mara Lang now. Married to Victor Lang, owner of Lang Wealth Partners. They don't invest money. They steal it. Mara seduces lonely men with money. Victor drains their accounts. When the Marks finally understand, Mara vanishes and the trail dies. I followed her for 9 days. She's working a new target. Daniel Reese, retired mechanic, just sold his auto shop for $820,000. I confronted her yesterday. She cried, said Victor forces her to keep going, that he'll kill us both if I talk. I recorded everything. The files are on the cloud drive I shared with my friend Maya. Password, TwinFlame22. I'm going to the police tomorrow. If you're reading this, I didn't make it. Asterisk. Elias felt the letter tremble in his grip. Caleb's voice was steel. She was going to expose them. That's why she's dead. Daniel Reese met them at his garage the next evening, still smelling faintly of motor oil. When Elias showed him Mara's photo, hair darker now, smile sharper, Daniel's face drained of color. She said her name was Claire. Told me she'd lost her son in a car wreck last year. We were talking about the future. She introduced me to her advisor. Victor. I was supposed to sign the transfer papers Thursday. Elias looked at the man who could have been him 22 years ago. She's my ex-wife. And she's done this before. Many times. Over the following week, Elias became Thomas Reed, a reclusive woodworker who just cashed out a custom furniture empire for $2 million. Fake profiles, forged statements, a staged website. Every detail engineered to scream perfect mark. The trap was set at the same upscale bistro where Rowan had last met her mother. When Mara walked in, time folded. She was still beautiful, still lethal. Her smile never reached her eyes. Thomas, she purred, extending a manicured hand. Claire. I'm so glad Daniel connected us. Elias shook it, feeling only cold calculation where love once lived. They talked for an hour. She was flawless, sympathetic, attentive, patient. When she finally leaned forward and whispered, "My advisor is exceptional. He could change your life," Elias smiled the way a wolf smiles before the strike. "I'd like to meet him. Soon." That night, in the shadowed workshop, Elias, Caleb, Daniel, and Detective Voss reviewed the hidden camera footage. Mara's face filled the screen, talking about new beginnings. Voss's voice was quiet thunder. "We have her on tape. We have Rowan's cloud files. We have 12 prior victims willing to testify now that they know they weren't alone." Caleb looked at his father. "She doesn't get to walk away again." Elias stared at the frozen image of the woman who'd taken everything from him twice. "She won't," he said. 2 weeks later the Langs were arrested in their glass-walled mansion as news helicopters circled overhead. Mara's mask cracked on camera, screaming, sobbing, begging, while Victor stared straight ahead, already calculating his plea. In the quiet afterward, Elias stood at Rowan's grave for the first time. He placed a single cherrywood carving on the stone, 2 intertwined saplings, roots fused forever. "I'm sorry I didn't find you sooner," he whispered. "But I made sure they'll never hurt anyone else." Caleb laid his hand on his father's shoulder. For the first time in 22 years, the empty half of Elias Harper's heart felt a little less hollow.